Be honest with me for a second. If your life stayed exactly the same way for the next 5 years, would you be excited or would you be terrified? Because if you don't decide your future, life will decide it for you. And today I'm going to help you take back that control. So let me start by asking you, how do you want your future to look? And how do you want that future to feel to you? What does success look like in your life to you? You can't design a fulfilling life and start working to create that life if you don't know or if you've forgotten what that life is going to look like. How can you know if you're succeeding if you don't even know that the progress you're making is taking you in the right direction? When an architect has a house or a project to design, they first start with the end product or the outcome in mind. They say, these are the specifications and this is the house that needs to be built. And from that end product, they formulate and engineer the strategy that gets them to that desired outcome. Now, let me ask you again, as the architect for your future and for your life now, what is the type of future and lifestyle that you really want to create for yourself? Now, that's a big question, I know. So let me try and make it a little bit easier for you. How do you want your future to look and feel to you in 5 years' time? Your life could flip around 180 degrees in 5 years' time. You could be living a whole different life as a completely different version of yourself. And how would you want that version of your life to look and to feel to you? Take a moment and imagine if everything worked out for you. If you were successful in every area of your life that matters most to you, what would your life look like 5 years from now? What could your life look like 5 years from now? What are your dream goals for the next 5 years? Not your average goals, not the ones that would be nice to have. I'm talking about the dream goals so big that just thinking about them brings a huge smile to your face. This exercise is not about setting realistic goals. It's about designing the most exciting, fulfilling, and amazing version of your life. When you have a vision that inspires you, everything in your life changes. You stop moving just to stay busy and you start moving with purpose. Your choices begin to align. Your energy returns and your confidence, it shifts because now you know exactly where you're going with your life. Having this sort of clarity doesn't just make you more productive, it also brings you peace. And when you have that peace and focus and direction, life starts to flow again for you. And that's the power of having a very clear and inspiring vision. It enables you to decide and to design the kind of future you're wanting to build for yourself. Even if you've already got goals right now that you're working on, I want you to try this exercise with me because the process that we're about to go through can be applied and it should be applied to any goal that you aspire to achieve. Now, I want you to take 10 minutes to write down your vision of you living your best life 5 years from now. How would you be living your life if everything worked out for you over the next 5 years and you found yourself there living your dream life? What would that look like and consist of on a daily basis for you? Now, 10 minutes isn't a long time to do this, and I'm pretty sure you can all come up with some pretty amazing lives with mansions and yachts and private islands and so on. So let me give you a simple but a powerful framework to make this much easier for you. If you can only apply one thing from this video, then make sure it's this. The first step is to identify your top 3 priorities. Think about the 3 most important areas of your life that if you only succeeded in these 3 areas, your life would be a huge success to you. Now, for most people, these areas will include, firstly, your health and well-being. That means your physical health, your mental and emotional health as well. And this is usually people's top priority, and rightly so, because without your health, nothing else really matters, does it? There's an expression that says that you can have all the problems in the world until you have a health problem, and then you've only got one problem. Another very important area for most people is their wealth and finances, their career, their income, and their sense of financial freedom. Relationships and personal life also play an important part. Family, love, friendships, or living your life with passion and purpose. I want you to identify what are your top 3 priorities in your life, and then to set goals in each of those 3 areas for the next 5 years. And as you write down your goals, I want you to write them down in the present tense. I want you to set a specific date by which you will have achieved those goals, and I want you to write down how you will feel for having achieved each goal. This extra detail is a game changer, and I really want you to take your time doing this exercise. So instead of just writing in 5 years' time, I want to be financially free, write down, by January the 1st, 2031, I have $1 million in my bank account, or whatever it may be. And I feel empowered because now I have the financial freedom to travel the world and spend time with my family or do whatever I want to do. Or another example, instead of saying in 5 years' time, I want to be healthier, say by January the 1st, 2031, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm wearing my 30-inch jeans or whatever that may be for you. I'm full of energy and feeling amazingly confident in my body and my life every single day. And this has created a knock-on positive effect to all the other areas in my life. The key is specificity and visualization. The more detailed and exciting your goal is, the more real it becomes. Take 10 minutes now to do this. Just press pause and come back to me when you're done. Think big, be precise, and enjoy creating the most inspiring future you can create for yourself. Fantastic. So now that you have your 3 top priority 5-year goals, the next step now is to figure out the best way forward to achieving those goals. And this is where most people get this completely wrong. The best way to achieve your goals is not to try and imagine or create the way forward to your goals, but to start from your goals and reverse engineer the process back to where you are starting from today. Another way of looking at this is that you're using your goals as a tool to discover and define the strategy rather than allowing your strategy to define and potentially limit your goals. Most people try to build their future by looking forward. They set a goal and they start taking steps and guessing how to get there. And they take action after action, hoping one of them will work. And then they wonder why they feel lost or overwhelmed and they get stuck. It's much easier and a more powerful way to get to your goals by working backwards from those goals. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts that separates those who drift from those who achieve constantly. Because when you reverse engineer your goals, you're not just reacting to life anymore. You're following an already laid out plan leading you to your goals. Now, I want you to think of your 5-year vision like a scene out of a movie. It's already playing out in your mind. You can see it, you can feel it, hear it, you're there in the moment. Now imagine pressing rewind and start watching it backwards, scene by scene, step by step, until you arrive where you are at today. That is what reverse engineering is all about. Starting from the end result, that life that you want, and tracing the steps backwards that led you there. And when you do that, something really powerful happens. The impossible starts to feel almost inevitable. So let's say it's your goal in 5 years' time to grow your business to where you're making, let's say, $1 million a year. Or even if it's your goal to simply have $1 million over the next 5 years, this is how we would reverse engineer it. You take your 5-year goal, which is $1 million in this case, write that figure down, and then I want you to divide that number in half to figure out where you need to be in 2.5 years' time along your journey towards that 5-year goal. So in this case, it would be 500,000. And then from 2.5 years out, I want you to divide that again to work out where you'd need to be in 1 year's time from now. And then again, do the same thing for 6 months' time out as well. So in this case, reverse engineering our 5-year, $1 million goal, we need to have around 125,000 in the first 6 months. It's important to try and be as accurate as you can, but always remember that this exercise is to make the path forward to your goals easier by breaking them down into smaller steps. Now, in most cases, and especially when it comes to making money, you're going to be making much faster progress towards your goal in the latter stages of the journey. What I mean by that is that in the last 2.5 years, you're probably going to be making a lot more money than you're going to be making in the first 2.5 years. Because by then, you've got more money to invest and you've also refined your strategies as well. So breaking it down this way and simply dividing it evenly over 4 time periods is not going to be very accurate. If we were to more accurately reverse engineer a financial goal, then it would probably be, let's say in 5 years' time, we want $1 million. So by 2.5 years out, we'd probably aim to be around the $300,000 mark, I would say. And in 1 year's time, that would be around 100,000. And in 6 months' time, maybe around the $50,000 mark. That's how I would reverse engineer a 5-year financial goal down to a 6-month goal. The important thing is that you're creating and seeing the path forward to that goal. And your goals need to be tangible. If your goal is, for example, to have a closer relationship with your family, then write down what that consists of in a measurable way to you. Does that mean you're seeing them 3 times a week or maybe talking to them every day? Try and quantify what your goal looks like to you and then reverse engineer it down to 6 months' time in the future. The idea is to break down your bigger 5-year goal into smaller, easier to achieve steps. And as you work out where you need to be at all stages along the timeline, see yourself at each of those stages. See how far you've come, the progress you've made, how much your life has changed. And above all, see the journey forward from today. Connect with it and make it as real as possible. You'll notice that when you reverse engineer your goals, something amazing starts to shift. The overwhelm starts to fade. You stop trying to do everything at once, and instead you start to focus on the few things that actually matter. You stop guessing and you start moving with intention. You start feeling that inner confidence that comes from knowing you're walking a proven path. Because the truth is, success, it's not a mystery. It's predictable. And when you map it backwards, it becomes inevitable. This whole process, it makes your vision a lot more believable. It makes it viable and predictable as you're now following the path forward towards that vision. So in summary, envision your goal in detail, work from your goal and not to your goal, and break the bigger long-term vision down into the easiest and most manageable steps forward and start taking those steps. I've created a 1-page 5-year reverse engineering goals template to help you map out the journey to your next level goals. Just type 5-year goals in the chat for me and I'll send it out to you. Remember, Your vision is the reason you get out of bed every morning. It's something that should excite you. It should motivate you to make the most out of every day and every opportunity to move you closer to fulfilling that vision.